Hey guys, welcome. If you're new here and you don't know who I am, I'm Christine. I'm owner and content creator of bloomingbrilliant.net, where I share educational resources, parenting advice, and of course, information about homeschooling. I'm a homeschool mom of two. I homeschool my daughter who's 12 and my son who is 8 right here in Brooklyn, New York, and I love to share our homeschooling journey with you. So today I am talking about a book that I have read recently that I have really enjoyed, and I just couldn't wait to share with my fellow homeschoolers, my fellow parents, because you don't have to be a homeschooler to enjoy this book, and my fellow students. And I mean, aren't we all students of life? But if you are a homeschooled child or a student in general, then you might want to stick around and hear about this book. Okay, so the book that I have been so excited to share with you is Teach, Creating Independently Responsible Learners, and it is by Dennis DiNoia, the creator and owner of Mr. D Math. And if you don't know what Mr. D Math is, then you really haven't been around, because we have posted a few videos and blog posts sharing our experience with Mr. D Math. It's a great and amazing online learning platform where you can learn a whole plethora of courses and topics. My daughter has taken 3 of their classes, pre-algebra, study skills, and is currently taking ASL 1, and they have all been super fabulous classes, and we can't speak highly enough of them. We're definitely lifers when it comes to Mr. D Math and their classes. But this is something a little different. This is a book about, one, raising independent learners. And I think as homeschoolers, that's something we're always striving for. We want our kids to be independent learners, and we want to, help them think critically and grow and be able to hone in on these skills that will help them in their long-term lives be independent learners. It also gets us to know who this guy behind Mr. D Math, Mr. Dennis DiNoia, who he really is, and get some insight into that, into his experience. So he was an actual teacher outside of the homeschool realm, and he kind of stumbled into homeschooling, and he shares his story with that, which I found really interesting to read. I also really enjoyed in this book some of the tips, and I want to say that he shares with parents, but also this is a book that we as parents, homeschool parents or non-homeschool parents, can read and learn from, and grow as people ourselves. But we can also have our kids read these books or this book and gain so much skills and so much knowledge from it, and be able to develop skills based on the tips he gives. So I wanted to briefly show you through the book, but talk about some of the things he mentions. He talks about an accidental discovery. He talks about how he was a teacher, how he found, how he morphed into the homeschool field. So I really enjoyed reading this book, and I actually was trying to urge my daughter into reading it so that way I could have conversations with her about it. But I found it helped me reflect on my own learning experience and also how I teach my kids. I also really like the positive mindset that Dennis DiNoia has and infused in the book. So he definitely is on that. He's aligned with that positive mindset, which is something that is truly important to me, and also truly important for me to infuse into my homeschool. So I really liked how we kind of agree with that kind of thinking, and also how it works, or how it was mentioned in the book. But anyway, he talks about the independently responsible learner. He talks about the student is the teacher, and how once you understand something and start teaching it to others, it really, solidifies your learning. Checking your own work and the importance of that, which is something that when I ended up having a discussion with my daughter about, because I realized that the math course that we're using, which is Mr. D Pre-Algebra, was designed, and the reason why it was designed for her to check her own work and not to rely on me or to rely on anything else, was that she could then find her mistakes and then correct from there. And it's a lot you understand things better when you go through the whole process of correcting it versus getting a paperback, seeing your mistakes and just moving on. You know, having to redo it or work through it to find the error is the important part, and a part that many of us miss. And then I've thought about how important it is for me, you know, as a business owner, to be constantly, you know, checking my own work as well and things like that. But then I get like stuck in like the perfectionist mindset, but that's a whole other story. How you present yourself is another chapter, and he talks about that and how we're always kind of like presenting ourselves and thinking about like the way that we do that and how we present our learning and trying to use that as a form. Like, you learn something, you understand it, and then you present it to others. So I really like that. He talks about testing, and he gives some testing tips. He also gives some tips about word problems and how many of us have been taught how to deal with word problems completely wrong. He talks about how we should be looking for the question first and then looking for all the details and everything. He also talks about learning how to think, and this is where that positive mindset comes in. He had mentioned something that really hit home for me. When we're babies, we don't wake up thinking about all the stuff we have to deal with the next day. We just care, you know, it's yay, fun, a new day, and eating and, you know, being clean and all that, but never like that whole laundry list. We have been programmed to wake up and think about all the things that we have to do in the day and, you know, have that affect us. So it just, it aligns so beautifully with everything that I was going through at the time when I read that, and I'm like, yeah, it just hits right. And I really love that. And so it goes further than that, but that was something that stuck out for me. So it's learning how to think. Do what you love to do. He talks about entrepreneurship. He talks about using masterminds, which for me, I use masterminds as a business owner, and he had hit like everything correctly when he wrote that chapter. And then he talks about the parent is the coach, which I really enjoyed as well, having that aspect and thinking of myself as a coach versus, you know, the teacher or somebody pushing my child to do certain things. I just think wearing the coach hat is a lot better, and I agreed with that. And then he gave us a bonus chapter and taught us about goal setting. So that's what I mean. This book is not just for the homeschool parent. It's not just for parents in general. It's for the homeschooled kid. It's for students anywhere. It is for everybody. This book has humongous nuggets of gold, of educational gold, and it's more than just a book that teaches you how to be a better student or anything. It's going to help you in many elements of your life. So maybe right now it's a student, but it also could help you as an entrepreneur or working or in business or whatever it is. So if you haven't picked up this book yet, I urge you to check it out. It's really affordable. You could get it on Kindle. You could get, I think, an Audible version. You can get it in a good old paperback, which I love because then, you know, you could highlight and write notes. I like using the Post-it notes and writing notes because I don't know, I just don't like writing in books very much. I stress. I was like, but yeah, anyway. So I urge you to check it out. I have a blog post in the description box, and I also have the link to where you can get this book. Check it out for yourself. Let me know what you think. Put your thoughts in the comments. And as always, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you get alerts when our videos are uploaded. Also, give us a like if you enjoyed this video and share with your friends and your community, because if this helped you, then maybe it can help others. And I love helping others, especially on this crazy journey of homeschooling. So I hope you guys have a great day and happy homeschooling.